Welcome to the Metal Prognosis. My name is Lee, and on today's video we are doing another recording where we're only using external gear to capture our guitar tone here. So I'm doing this because these are the two devices that we're going to be using. So instead of using a real amp and speakers, we're using this NUX Solid Studio, which is an amp and speaker emulator. And going into that, we are going to be using EarthQuakersDevices Palisades big pedal, and this is a beast of a unit. So we are going to be plugging straight into here, going into here, then just straight into the mixing console, and that is it. No other microphones or anything else being used to capture the sound. And we're going to see how this turns out and see how they all match up together. Because I've had previous videos matching these up with all different amp heads to see how they react and see how it goes, and it's amazing. So definitely keen to see how this video is going to go by seeing if the Solid Studio can handle the amount of oomph that this gives off. So let's get this all set up and start pushing buttons and see how good this is going to sound. So the Palisades matched up with the NUX Solid Studio. Now we have everything set up, ready to go. Just grab my little jacks in here and let's start turning everything on. Let's fix my setup first. Start turning everything on and see how it all sounds. First good thing is we have signal. So we have the amp. We turn on the speakers. That's boring. We want, it's handy because I know that I've got good signal coming through. So it does play a purpose, but let's get to the fun stuff. So let's activate it. So first thing we want to do is, as soon as you activate it, it automatically goes on to gain A. So let's give that a bit of oomph. Still a little bit dry. So let's see if I remember how to do this. So we've got a bright switch there. Probably not going to help us because it's a bit bright now, but as an example. Yeah, definitely leaving that one off. And so we've got different voicings and different bandwidth. So first the bandwidth, let's check that out. So I think 5 is a little bit too much. 1 is a little bit thin. So I might leave it on 3 at the moment, and let's change the voicing. It's got voicing 1. And I think this is the biggest strength of this pedal here. Try 3. So that one's the weakest. With the setup that we have, that one's reacting with the weakest. I think 2 was really good. now we've got 2 on. Let's just quickly muck around with the bandwidth to see if there is something more fitting. That's right on the cusp there, number 4. When I say on the cusp, referring to on the cusp of breaking up the signal unpleasantly. Because 5 is, I feel, unpleasantly broken up. Compared to, say, 3. So just before we push on, because this is actually sounding really good, let's go over the 2 other different knobs here just to see if they're going to react better now that we've come a little bit closer to something that we like. Or something I like. Hopefully you like it as well. So the bright, is this still going to be too bright? Yeah, definitely still think that it's better going on normal rather than pushing on bright mode. So now I've got a buffer here, so let's see how that reacts to the tone that we've got running at the moment. Turn it back on. That is sounding really good just as it is. So definitely keeping the buffer on helps give it that extra little bit of brutalness, which I'm always a fan of. I've got the gain pumped pretty hard there, but that's understandable because it's doing all the work because we've only got clean running through the Solid Studio there. I think that's sounding really good. I mean, there is a boost element on there. I'll quickly just turn it on and off. So here's the boost here. So I'll just leave it at 12 o'clock. I have a funny feeling boost might be too much, but there's only one way to find out. I'm actually going to leave that boost on because that sounds really good. Adds a little bit of a little bit of noise, but that's not an issue whatsoever. Because when you're pushing something that hot and that hard anyway, there's going to be a little bit of noise created. So I'm going to take a little bit of a step away, do a little bit of a jam, set up all the different takes in the little windows like the Brady Bunch for you all to enjoy. And yeah, then we'll have a quick chat on the other side. So sit back, relax, enjoy the tune, and I'll see you all on the other side. Time for my final thoughts, matching up the Palisades with the Solid Studio here. So firstly, I'll start off with the Palisades. This is a brutal unit. I've always loved the power and the aggression you get from this. So in the past, I've hooked it up with this orange Dark Terror and other amp heads, and it's always shined really, really nicely, especially with its different voicing and bandwidth. I've done this in the C tuning, which is what I use today, and in lower tuning, in drop G, and it's handled it really, really well. So matching it up with the Solid Studio here, it definitely didn't disappoint. I felt like it was as brutal and as aggressive, well, how I like my distortion anyway. So it definitely didn't hold back any swings, and it was as brutal and didn't disappoint in the slightest. So with this, to give it a little bit of a hand, a little bit of a helper, I kept the same IRs that I loaded up in here, which was Roman from Ginger, his signature IR packet that he had with Coffee Audio. So the thing I loved about that was it loaded in this perfectly, and I pretty much just kept it in here because, well, the results we got today is a prime example of why I did that, because they're brutal and sounded amazing. So matching them up and putting them together was firstly very smooth transition. I really loved, kind of like the individual thing I loved about this pedal, which the fact that this works so well with it, it is not only amazing and pleasurable, but just as an isolated opinion of this pedal, I should say, kind of the same as how I worked with it before, which is the voicing and the bandwidth and how they work together is just spectacular. The different type of distortions you can get, the different type of saturations, and how you can cater for no matter what different type of guitar you're using on different tuning, you can kind of home in something nice, either to have that kind of clean raw aggression or have that more oversaturated type of aggression. You can really hone that in nicely with this, which is exactly what we did in this video. Yeah, the brightness, definitely didn't put that up because during the equipment breakdown of the demo section of this video, I felt like it was just a little bit too much with the tuning. But that feature has definitely come in extremely handy when I use my lower tuning stuff to really give it that boost in those frequencies to help it cut through the mix really nicely. So mixing these together and the distortion that we came up with here, definitely felt a little bit dry when listening to the isolated version compared to in the mix, which happens sometimes. But I didn't feel like it was overly dry while playing and jamming along with the drums and then adding the bass in afterwards. It felt like it fitted in really nice in the actual mix. But yeah, listening to the two back to back, yeah, it definitely felt a little bit empty, I think is a good description, when you isolate the guitars by themselves. But it definitely didn't feel that while I was jamming and actually playing. It felt really nice playing along with these settings with the guitar. So it just shows that sometimes they have their place in the mix and not the place by themselves, because yeah, by themselves, not so much. In the mix, really fitted in nicely. In saying that, what's your opinion on all this? How did you feel while I was dialing it in? Did you feel like the voicing I picked wasn't the best, or there was another one that may have been a better pick or more to your preference? How did you feel about the amount of gain? Do you think it was enough, or do you think I pushed it too much? And yeah, let me know your thoughts on all that. And also too, like having this type of setup, what are your thoughts about having a non-mic type of recording capture where, yeah, we just chuck it straight into the mixer and that's it. And everything we capture here is, well, it is what it is. Which the good thing about it is matching these two up together, I felt was really, really good. And I've said it before, but I definitely will say it again because I believe in it this strongly, that the aggressiveness and the brutalness that adding these together was really a nice touch. So yeah, definitely, what are your thoughts on the matter? Because this was lots of fun. And as I said before, really nice to play too. Like I really felt it as a guitarist playing it, which is always important while you're jamming through and doing it. Because as much as I like doing post-editing stuff and fixing up whatever I need to for the mix afterwards, which is not what these videos are about, but from a guitarist perspective though, I like to feel the distortion close to what it's going to be to really bring out the characteristics that I need as a guitarist to bring the recording alive to what I need to represent what I'm portraying and the characteristics that I need. For lack of a better term, I'm sure there's a better way of saying that. I stumbled a little bit there on my words, but hopefully you get the message. Compared to just having a dry signal or having something kind of temporary and then giving it the main body and the main characteristics after you've actually performed. So I feel like you miss out on a lot of what you want to give to the song because you can't actually feel it and express it as much as you'd like to because it's not there till afterwards. So doing something like this, I feel, is really, you can utilize that type of approach. Not the best, but definitely to a high standard. So there we are. The Palisades matched up with the Solid Studio. So definitely keen to hear your thoughts on both of them. And I'll do my usual sign off now. So whether this video is in the foreground or the background, I absolutely appreciate your company and being a part of these conversations and really look forward to chatting with you next time. And until next time, please stay safe.